Good morning, ma'am. Please tell us something about the importance of the mate that you are employing in your day-to-day life. How it is impacting you when he is absent for a day?
Actually, I'm a working woman, and at my level of seniority, work is everything. It takes more than 8 to 10 hours in a day. So, more than 10 hours in a day. So, in that situation, without a person to help me in the house, and if you don't follow the maid, it can be any person, but without a person to help me in the house, there is no way that I can actually manage to give the time and attention that I should give to my job. So I would say she is probably one of the most critical persons in my life.
So the plan that we are proposing, that contributing some amount over and above her salary, do you think this plan is viable?
Definitely it is viable. I haven't seen the financial model that you have, but I do think that it is necessary. Whatever we pay the domestic help that we have, I think up to 10% of that should definitely be paid over and above what we pay her.
Okay. So do you think that we should create a moral obligation on the part of the employer, or some conscience building on the part of the employer to contribute them?
I think if you're talking about educated people, they should do it themselves. It shouldn't require any conscience building or awareness. I'm sure everybody is aware of this issue. Point is, how would raising awareness work, or are there other ways that you need to make sure that they do this? I have tried doing this. There are 2 or 3 things. Even if a person is aware, what are the functionalities in there? What are the practicalities? The level of income that domestic help typically has and the requirements for life today are such that anything extra that you pay goes into their daily subsistence needs. Just to exist, they need that 50 rupees or 100 rupees extra. Now, at this situation when they really need just for the regular nutrition and clothes and house rent, if they need money, how are you going to convince them to leave that portion aside for the future? So, is it really only awareness on the part of the employer, or is it more the awareness on the part of the worker? Or maybe both, of course, but I think it is equally required that the person who is working, you need to find a way to convince them. Because I have tried various ways. One is to actually give them an extra and tell them you have to keep this aside. The other way I have tried is actually telling them that this is X is your salary, but I am going to hold back 10%, and that will be in a fund for you. And if you don't ask for an advance against that fund, at the end of the year I add an equivalent amount or some amount. Okay, so for example, 100 rupees every month I cut from their salary. I tell them you're getting 1500 rupees. I give them 1400 rupees. End of the year they have 1200 rupees and deposit with me. I had intended to even actually open a bank account. Those things take time. I haven't been able to organize it, but I did that. Now at the end of the year, if she has not asked for an advance or wanted to take this money, I have given her advance against the next month's salary, but not against this money. At the end of the year, then she gets a bonus, which is instead of 1200, she has 1500 with me, which is basically something like an interest that she's earning, but it's far more than the interest that she would earn in a bank anyway. I tried that with one person, it worked. For 6 years, she was working with me, and when she left, she was a mother of 4, single mother, but she had no way that she could actually save out of her own pocket. So if I had given her the cash, then she would have it. The only way I could convince her to do that is what I was paying her was about 20% to 25% more than what was the market rate for domestics in that area. So if others were paying 1200, I was paying her 1500. So I told her, you're anyway getting more, which is 1400 rupees. So, but you can understand that your wage is 1500. So now that means just to make her save and help her, I had to incur an extra burden of 300 rupees. Perhaps I was in a position to do that, or I was convinced enough to do that. Now everybody may not be. So how do you work out these things? So it is not as simple as saying that the employer should have a good heart. I'm sure many do. It's more than that. So,
ma'am, do you think that if an employer follows this good gesture, some loyalty and trust factor is built up on the part of the employee, like say does not want to leave your job?
Loyalty and trust is a matter of only such a gesture. Of course, it adds to it. It also is a question of, given their, let's say, their compulsions, the things that they have to cope with for surviving, they are often forced to behave in ways that make them look disloyal, that make them look exploitative, that make them look as if they are blackmailing the employer. And many people think that is them. But what they forget is that at the end of the day, those are survival tactics of the domestic workers who are at a very different plane from us, different income level, and therefore different psyche. So whether by giving 100 rupees more, 200 rupees more, I can build their loyalty, I don't think that can be the only thing. Loyalty is built in many other ways. It of course has to do with what compulsions they are anyway facing, but also their basic nature. There are people who you can invest in a lot and at the end of it they don't care. But there are people with a little bit small gesture, they are loyal for life. So I think it depends on their basic personality, the compulsions they face in their life, plus the fact that whether you are consistent or you are doing it because you think a longer term interest is there. Because people always figure out that okay ठीक है 100 रुपये ज़्यादा देते हैं, but क्यों? क्योंकि उनको ज़रूरत है. It's not out of the goodness of their heart. So there are many facets to look at. It's not, you can't be simplistic about it. I'm not saying that it is not simple. The idea is very simple. It should work. It should be definitely made to work. But you consider the complexities of the interaction.
Now, just now we are talking about the government regulation pertaining to the construction workers, where the contractor is obligated to pay some amount towards their pension and health insurance things. So, do you think that we can extend this model towards this our domestic helps, or we can create a greater level of support?
We definitely should. I think it is part of the government's responsibility to make sure that there is sufficient regulation that ensures the minimum requirements for a good life or a decent life for all informal sector workers. There's just no, I don't think there is a quibble about that at all. It should be non-negotiable. And employers of all kinds, including domestic employers, they should be forced to do this. There is absolutely no other way. I don't think, given the complexities I'm talking about, I think this should be done. And what does it really incur? If you look at a budget of a household like ours, even if you take the full range, even at a lower range with a single income person who's teaching, who's an academic, or a similar kind of officer or a staff somewhere, I think today 100 rupees, they spend 300 rupees on a cinema ticket. 100 rupees or 200 rupees is absolutely worth nothing for them. So to be forced to do it, of course they should be doing it anyway. But if they are not willing to, of course the government should enter them. Who is going to protect the interests of the informal workers? It is the state after all.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your views.